Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to Bringing Division video. What if I guess today is a video showing guys how you can build Nomad in 1.8.2 if you're solo or if you're in a group. If you guys didn't know, in 1.8.2 Nomad pretty much got changed. The 6 piece bonus pretty much doesn't work anymore if you are in a group. It only works when you're solo. So there is a little bit of different ways to build this. I'm going to show you guys how I've been running it and how I like it. So if you guys enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for my videos, and let's get right into this. So without further ado, this is my build. This is how I'm running Nomad in 1.8.2 when I'm playing with a group, and yes, there is 2 different versions of making this. The first one is what I'm showing you guys right now with a bare chest piece, and pretty much this is going to give you a bit more weapon damage, skill power, and also armor, and the second version is with savage gloves, and that's pretty much going to give you a bit more critical hit chance on your build. Now, since I am using a submachine gun, which is the house with this build, I don't really want to use savage gloves because I'm already sitting at 51% critical hit chance. So yes, I would get a bit more crit chance. Yes, I would get, a bit more damage, I guess you could say, more DPS. But I did really want to go with a bare chest piece. First of all, my bare chest piece is way better than the savage gloves I do have. And second of all, the weapon damage, the extra skill power, and the armor is pretty important to me. But as I said, you guys can run this however you want. Savage gloves or bare chest piece are both very good. Anyway, as for the weapon, I am using the house as my primary, and what I have on it is 23% critical hit chance, 21.5k base damage, and for my talents I'm running Deadly, Unforgiving, and the card counter talents. And as for the weapon mods, I have everything into critical hit chance with rate of fire magazine, and then critical hit damage on my scope, my muzzle brake, and also my grip. For the secondary, I'm using a lightweight M4, and this is pretty much for 1, killing NPCs, and 2, getting a bit more health with predatory, since I have predatory rolled on it. If I'm in a gunfight, if I'm running away, I have no medkits, no skills, anything like that, this is pretty much my last resort. I pull this out and hopefully get some predatory kills and get my health back pretty soon. As for the AR weapon mods, I'm once again spec'd everything into critical hit chance and critical hit damage, as you guys can see. Moving over to the gear, so the first thing I do want to show you guys are my gear mods. So for my chest piece, what I'm actually using are 2 stamina with critical hit chance mods, and keep in mind, I'm using critical hit chance mods on all my gear pieces, but on my chest piece, I'm actually using them with stamina. Now the reason it is because I do want to be above 5500 stamina. I'm not sure about you guys, but whenever I'm using a build and I'm not using like 6-piece Nomad, I do feel like I'm a bit too squishy when I have like below 5500 stamina. I'm not sure about you guys, but for me, I personally feel like I die way too fast, and I want a bit more toughness. I want to be a bit more I guess tanky, so that's why I'm using 2 stamina. I know it's not a big difference, I know it's not going to affect me that much, but as I said, my sweet spot is 5500, so with 2 stamina mods, I'm sitting at 5700. And then for the rest of my gear mods, I'm using pretty much all firearms and critical hit chance mods, obviously for a bit more damage and critical hit chance. As for the prototype mods, I'm using everything first aid self-heal. I'm actually using a booster shot on this build as well, so that is the reason why I'm using first aid self-heal. If you guys don't want to use a booster, if you guys don't want to use a heal, you guys can use like pulse critical hit chance mods or something else. So for the actual chest piece, what I'm using on it is stamina, skill haste, health, and increased kill XP. The only problem I do have with this is I do not have EDR, which kind of sucks. Unfortunately, the rolls on it are not perfect, but skill haste it's not bad, so I'm not really complaining about it. If it was something like all resistance or enemy armor damage, then probably I would be, a bit more salty. Moving down to the mask, we're using firearms, critical hit chance, burn resistance. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory here. For the knee pads, I'm using stamina, health, shock resistance, increased skill XP, and damage to elites. Once again, it is not a perfect roll. The perfect, ideal roll would be like shock resistance, disrupt resistance, and burn resistance for the minor attributes. For the backpack, we're using firearms once again with health, burn resistance. For the gloves, I'm sitting with firearms, critical hit damage, SMG damage, and critical hit chance. And last but not least, for the holster, I'm sitting with critical hit chance again. So yeah, that is pretty much the build. That is pretty much the overview of what I have on my gear. As I said, the main focus of this is critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Especially with the house, especially if you're using an SMG, you're going to have a lot of critical hit chance with this build no matter what. The next thing I do want to show you guys are the character stats on this build. So for my weapon damage, I'm sitting at 21.5k, 51% critical hit chance, 113% critical hit damage, 61% headshot damage. Moving over to the max health, I'm sitting at 326,000, which isn't It's not a crazy amount of health, but I am kind of, I'm kind of good at what I'm sitting at because I do have the health on kill, plus I'm getting a constant heal from the 3-piece, so I'm not too worried about this health. Honestly, it's not that bad. I don't feel that squishy in the Dark Zone, and if I was, I probably would have upped this, but as I said, since I'm using Nomad, I'm getting that extra life and the healing and the health on kill. It kind of makes up for it. Last but not least, I'm sitting at 9% skill haste, and that is because of the roll on my chest piece. And then the final thing I do want to show you guys are my abilities, what I'm actually using. So the first thing is a booster shot. I'm using this pretty much for the extra damage and the damage resistance. Not for healing. Obviously, my self-healing for this is 54,000, which is pretty much nothing. As I said, I'm using this for extra damage and damage resistance. If you guys don't want to use a booster shot, I would recommend using something like a Concealer Pulse or even like a Shock Turret or a Flame Turret. It's really up to you. The next thing I'm using is a Immune Station, and this is really important if you're going against Predamark builds, or if someone's using like Flame Turrets or Shock Turrets, the Immune Station can really save your life. Last but not least, for the talents, I'm using Adrenaline, Critical Save, Strike Back, and Combat Medic. For group play, and especially for PvP, I would recommend using Combat Medic 100%. This is really good. Pretty much anytime you use a medkit, you're going to get, the healing, and also your teammates are going to get the same healing as well. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the build. That's pretty much what I'm running on this thing. As I said, either a Barrage chest piece or Savage Gloves for group play is really good. Obviously, if you're playing solo, you want to use 6-piece because you do get that 6-piece bonus whenever you're solo. So once again, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I respond to all my comments, but as I said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.